What is going on, guys? Taylor Stuber with Locks DFS.com, bringing you my my locks of the week for NBA. Don't know what I should call this just yet, but first slate of the season, very, very excited. Only 2 games, but so from a bankroll management standpoint, I would suggest going a bit lighter, just playing GPPs. Enjoy the games. 2 great games. Well, 1 great game and then 1 possible, most likely blowout with Russell Westbrook's supposed to be out with that knee injury. They're definitely pessimistic on the situation. He's been dealing with it for a while. Don't expect him to play. And that leads me to like 2 of my favorite plays of the slate. I keep trying to say week just because I'm so used to these NFL videos, but 2 favorite plays, and that's going to be Paul George and Dennis Schroeder. It's just a usage thing. If you're new to NBA DFS, usage in minutes equals money for the most part. If we go over to how they were doing this preseason without Russell Westbrook, Westbrook was out the entire preseason, so we have a pretty decent sample size of how OKC is going to run their offense, and it's pretty much just the Paul George and Dennis Schroeder show. Both I expect to get mid-30s minutes, even in a blowout. They're going to play. I'm going to figure they're going to play almost assuming that they're going to get blown out. I assume that they're going to play really deep into the third quarter, and hopefully if it's close enough, they get a couple more minutes into the fourth. But the first 3 quarters are going to get a ton of minutes. I'm expecting 34, 35 minutes kind of as a floor. And with usage rates at 33.2 and 29.9, I'd take that all day. Paul George has been on absolute fire this preseason. If you watched any of the games, Dennis Schroeder is right there with him. The next starter on here is Steedham Adams at 18.6 usage. It's crazy. It's just going to be those 2 guys. And I think they can get the job done fantasy-wise for sure. If we go over to FanDuel, definitely for the prices. If we can search up Dennis Schroeder. Oh, he's shooting guard eligible on FanDuel, which is one of the reasons why I like him so much. It's just because normally when shooting guards, or most of the time when James Harden's not on the slate, I'm going to be playing cheap shooting guards just because they lack so much. They lack ability to get peripheral stats. Dennis Schroeder, pretty decent at doing that, but he's a great scorer, great on-ball player. Gets a lot of turnovers. Really active on the court, which is why I like him, and especially at shooting guard at 6.1K. If we look at these other shooting guards, definitely like shooting dependent, like Klay Thompson, Jaylen Brown, JJ Redick, who's not even starting anymore because of one of the players that I'm going to mention later. So yeah, Dennis Schroeder, definitely a must play, even over on DraftKings when he's priced up a bit at 6.3K. Definitely think he hits value, has a ton of upside as well. He's going to be chalky. But I think it's good chalk. I'm going to eat it. That's fine. Another guy I'm looking at is Paul George, like I mentioned. Only 8,000. I think dollar for dollar, he's definitely the top play, but I think he might even be a better play than Kevin Durant. Just because these Warriors players, if you were a member of mine going through last season, I don't really play Golden State players for many reasons. Usually because they blow out teams and they don't get as many minutes. But when they're healthy like they are now, I know Draymond's a bit banged up, but when it's like Klay, their shooters, Klay, Steph, and Kevin Durant are all healthy. A lot of the times, like one of them takes a back seat or they just have like an average game or something. Paul George is going to be doing all the shooting for OKC. And if people are going to be playing Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons and not Paul George, I think Paul George is going to be chalky as well as Dennis Schroeder. But I like George more than Kevin Durant and Ben Simmons for sure. Definitely my top small forward play on the slate. And on FanDuel, he's 9K. He's $1,600 cheaper than Kevin Durant. I don't know how you can play Kevin Durant in this situation. If you're fading Paul George for Kevin Durant, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion. Another lock, there's like 2 more locks I'll mention. And they're both on the 76ers. Going to be a great game. So last year, cheat codes in the NBA DFS that I look at as soon as the slate, or as soon as I see the slate, the first things I look at is guards against Atlanta, and then I look at bigs versus Boston. And we got probably one of like a top 3 big in the league, Joel Embiid. led the entire preseason with a 36 usage of players playing like actual minutes. And the second on the team of the starters is going to be Markelle Fultz, who is going to be starting the first half of this game, and then JJ Redick will start the second half. But I think Markelle Fultz, if he gets rolling the first half, they'll just go ahead and start him. They're trying to integrate him into the starting offense. It's kind of weird because Ben Simmons is an on-ball player, and so is Markelle Fultz. So it's hard to give him point guard minutes. But I do expect the range of like 27, 28 to 30 minutes around there, which is insane value on both sides. 5,700 on FanDuel, and even better on DraftKings. He is 5,000. Must play territory for me just because Markelle Fultz is he doesn't really rely on his shooting. His shooting has been better this preseason, but we know he's definitely inefficient. But the reason you play him and the reason he's such a good value is because of how active he is on the game or on the court, and then the peripherals. He's really good at rebounding, getting assists, and he's really active getting steals and blocks. And that's what you love, especially on FanDuel, where it's 3 points for a steal and a block each. So definitely a super high floor and a super high ceiling, giving he's going to get minutes up to 30 minutes, I would expect. And like I was alluding to earlier, Joel Embiid, I think he's the top player on the slate. In a vacuum. No, you're not talking money. It's Joel Embiid. Softest matchup. He's going to have the highest usage on the slate. Him and Paul George are going to be battling for it, but I expect them both to be in the mid-30s in the respective games. But we know how well Joel Embiid abuses like bad defenses. That's why it's kind of weird like how I view Joel Embiid, but I don't play him all that much, but I'll play him in great matchups, just great matchups, and this is the best matchup in the league. Al Horford and Jason Tatum covering him is not going to work out very well, but definitely like Joel Embiid in a vacuum more than anyone, more than Curry, more than Kevin Durant. It's pretty easy, and he's only 8,800 on DK. It's a little bit more priced up over here on FanDuel at 10.4. I still think he's worth the value, but yeah, like I was saying, so my locks of the slate, probably Fultz, and then we go to Dennis Schroeder. If I can click on it. Paul George and Joel Embiid, and that gives you what, 5,700 per, and those are definitely like the top plays on the slate, so you could definitely deal with that, the pricing. There's going to be a lot of value, especially for OKC with so many injuries, and Westbrook being out just gives up so much usage and so many minutes to everyone else. But so I'll be back tomorrow for the day 2. It's a lot bigger slate, going to be a lot more fun, and definitely easy to take advantage of and get that money. So until then, peace.